My name's David Clayman, and I'm Associate Brand Manager on Hunted the Demon's Forge. So the Crucible is a dungeon crawl creation tool, and what you're able to do is you're able to place arenas in a row to sort of create a custom dungeon crawl. In each arena, you can go in and change a whole bunch of variables. So you can pick your loadout and your magic and other variables, like maybe you want to remove the HUD or change the amount of damage that's dealt. And some fun things like turning off gravity, which doesn't change your movement, but when you blow something up, it'll just shoot into the atmosphere. So once you create this arena and a whole string of them, you can save them and then upload them and share them with a friend. Crucible is really inspired by, I think, a callback to the original dungeon crawl experience, which was really you and a friend creating something and sharing it with each other. And that's what In Exile is all about. I mean, Hunted is a classic dungeon crawl experience, but updated for today's gameplay. So I wouldn't call the Crucible a mod in the classic sense on the PC. You're not deforming the environments, you're not placing things in the environments, but what you're doing is adjusting a huge set of variables. So because you're adjusting a huge set of variables, you're not getting something that's an unknown, but you do have a large amount of control over these things. I think they've done a really great job with the UI, making it easy to kind of toy with a huge number of options and then quickly save it out. Also, if you don't want to go into that much detail, there is a way to just auto-generate small, medium, and large dungeons, and In Exile has created some dungeons themselves to share with you, show you some of the best modes. Maybe I can give you an example of some specific type of arena that you can create. So you'll have a string of arenas, and then maybe let's go into your first one and say that you choose the map type, and you choose from specific areas. And you can't adjust what's in that area, but you can change which area it is. And then say you want to create something like a time attack mode. You can decide to put a countdown clock in the game, and you can only up the time by killing enemies, and if the timer reaches 0, you die. Then maybe just for fun, you want to add infinite arrows, so you want to play as Alara but never have to worry about running out of ammo. You can set that up as well. Then you'll save that out, go into the next arena, and maybe set up a whole new set of rules. Maybe in this arena you just want to fight a boss, so you can put a boss battle in that arena, and you'll go on to the next one and do the same sort of thing. Because each arena gives you the option to have a certain number of enemies, but you can have up to 100 waves of enemies, you can set up a dungeon crawl that you could never possibly finish in one sitting.
The game's changed a lot in the last 12 months. Since kind of the first reveal last year.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've kind of major additions and iterations that weren't at the kind of first reveal?
Yeah, well, I think we were really happy to announce this year that split screen is in it for sure. You know, to confirm that was great because people were constantly asking for it, and that's part of the game. And there's been a lot of polish added, both graphically and gameplay-wise, sort of making sure that the AI is up to snuff to take the role of the co-op player, because it was really important that Hunted plays the same and is just as good, and you can access all of the content no matter how you want to play it. Whether it's couch co-op or online, or if you want the AI to take over, you know, you always get all the content. So as you advance through Hunted, you pick up new loot, new weapons, new shields, and as you go through the game and you find better stuff, you discard the older stuff. So there's not the traditional inventory, and that's part of Hunted's action sort of basis in third-person action, where you're not sort of cycling through this massive container of loot. What you're doing is trying to go on these side quests to sort of get the next best thing, and you'll definitely be rewarded for exploration. The people who go off and complete all the side quests will get much better weapons, but then you're always looking for the next best weapon after that. There are a lot of side quests to go on. Once you go off Critical Path, you have an opportunity to go on some puzzles and some side quests that can last 30, 45 minutes. One of the areas that we were showing on one of the last press tours was this side quest that you could have bypassed entirely. You could have just gone through this level and let it be. But if you did sort of explore through another part of the dungeon, you'd be led on puzzle after puzzle, and eventually you'd come upon an end boss that you'd never experience if you didn't go out and explore. Variety is really important in a game like this, but it's all about the gameplay dynamics. If you notice, one of the main enemies are these Wargar. They're sort of these little goblin, and they pervade Hunted. They're everywhere. But when you start doing things like giving them armor, that makes Alara's arrows totally useless. So she has to find another way to attack them. And whether that's through her magic, through magic that allows her to smash through armor with her arrows, or whether you do it through magic, or you ask your partner to come in and close the gap and cut through them. You know, that's what makes the gameplay variety really interesting. You also do it through, you know, other changes in enemies like the Minotaur, which I don't know if you saw today, but we're showing off a level that had the Minotaur character in there. They'll actually charge through cover and blow it up. So if you like to hang back and attack from a distance, you might have to change your tactics once they get up close. There's some really strange enemies in there. One of my favorites is this assassin character. She shows up a little bit later in the game, first as a boss, and then she'll start showing up again. What she does is she teleports around the map, and she'll come in with a really powerful melee attack. But she actually carries her head on a staff. She has a hood that covers where her head would be. And she'll plant the staff, and then she'll come in for a melee attack as the staff sort of shoots these balls of energy at you, and you have to take out the staff before you can deal damage to her. It's that type of like really twisted character design that I think makes a lot of the battles really fun.
Was it ever a concern for you or Bethesda that you're releasing it so close to Brink?
I think there's plenty of room for both games. I mean, they're both very different types of game. Even though they both are based around multiplayer, I think that's, you know, that's perfectly fine. Everybody wants to play games with their friends nowadays, so it was never really a concern, no.
And obviously with L.A. Noire, are you concerned that you might be the next Alan Wake? A great game that came out at the wrong time kind of thing.
Well, I think that sort of ties into the Brink question a little bit. You know, they're extremely different games. Hunted is meant to be played based around this co-op gameplay mechanic. It's dark fantasy. It couldn't be more different, and I hope it offers enough of those unique elements that people will go off and really want to play that as well. It's out on the May 31st in the States and the 3rd in June 3rd in Europe.